Turn it on! Clean, they're just on their mothers, and they haven't had any other type of treatment other than just my bringing them on home and doing a weaning job of 7 days with them staying in the pen and eating some hay and drinking their water and becoming fence broke to the hot fence in there before they are turned out. That's our big thing that we want to watch for, and our big advantage in getting the animals is that they have not been stressed out before we get to handle them, and we're picking them right out then. They deliver them to me, and I ride in the truck ahead, and they bring them right on out, and we put them in the pen, and they get to their water and hay, and we start becoming acquainted with each other. No medications. No medication. They don't go through any type of vaccination program before they get to come up here and get off with us. There are several things that you've got to consider about our program. You're not vaccinating? No. Well, what about your loss program? No. I'll tell you everything that happens to me. I've lost one on February the 1st, right? Yep. You know what was the matter with her? She was dead with all 4 legs sticking up this high. You know what was the matter? She got more clover than she could handle and wasn't accustomed to it. And we had the minerals out with the paloxylene in it, but she had not had time enough to get adjusted to it. And she died with all 4 legs stretched out and weighed about 650, 700 pounds. I sat down and cried 15, 20 minutes and went and got the tractor and put her in the bucket and put her in the mulch pile. That's the only one I've lost. Last year I lost 2. I bought some steers and heifers from a person over out of Riverside. They were registered cattle, and they had not been exposed with a bull. That's what I was told. But I had 2 that turned up that tried to give birth to a calf that was as large as I am. And guess what? Both of them were the best 2 heifers out of the bunch. And I lost both of them. But that wasn't through any type of thing except they were bred when they were supposed to be open. So that's a pretty good hit. Yes, sir. I go out in the afternoon, unplug it down at the ground, turn the tub over, go back down the next morning after things kind of get thawed out, plug it back in, let it fill up with water, and they come to get a drink. They don't drink much then because it's too cold, so it's not a big deal. But most of the time, I don't think I only plugged one time this year. The rest of the time we just left them on. Because you're okay down to 28, 26, somewhere's in there. 28. Yes, sir.
You keep mineral out.
Yes. She asked me to speak on the minerals there. Just a minute, you should remind me again. We feed a mineral that has paloxylene in it, and Vigortone is the producer of it. They're no better than any others, but we use it with the paloxylene in it. It's very expensive. It jumped from about $15 a bag, $22.50 the next time I went in, a week later. So in other words, it's $45 for 100 pounds. And the animals will eat 0.8 of an ounce per 100 pounds of body weight per day. And right now, ours is eating that much. And they can go through a 50-pound bag, $22.50, you know what it is? $22.50 in about 4 days. But that's better than the other alternative. They all stand up instead of sticking out.
But after a while, they don't need that.
That's right. As soon as we get the clover, over the clover and ryegrass bit, then we'll cut back just to a regular. We go back to the Redmond's minerals then. My mineral feeders, sir, are beef lick tubs. They're a 55-gallon drum that's been cut off, and they're about 12 inches high. And they get $9 for them over at Producers Co-op. How you like that plug? And they have those. But let me tell you this. The tubs, I have bought those rubber tubs that you can use for mineral and everything out. My cattle will get in there and they'll get to pushing those things around, and they turn them over and they spill that mineral out on the ground. Well, I've had to sit down and cry, man. It hurts. And so I found out by putting them in that barrel, that lower part of that barrel, they don't turn those over. And I just take 3 of them and I put those out there, scatter them out 20, 30 feet apart, and that takes care of those 50 head that are in there. And then on the others, bigger cattle, I just put a couple of them over there, and I put fresh mineral in there most every day. Ma'am, we stay together so long until we have visit periods and everything. They stay with me 16, 18 months until they get up there and get finished on them. Grass fat is a bit slower than what you're doing on the feedlots. Of course, there's a lot of difference in the cost too, in them being grain fed and grass fed. So I can go the extra time there a lot easier than I can pay the price for grain and not have as good a product either. And that's as healthy as the grass fat beef, because that's the good omega-3 fat. That's the reason I'm doing so good at this age now. I eat a lot of that meat. I eat the fat, and it's the omega-3 instead of the omega-6. So that's the big advantage, and that's what sells the meat, is that health benefits. $3.50 hanging on the rail at Burton or at Bryan. We have 2 places that slaughter for us.
Are you paying the slaughter?
No, ma'am. When we get him to the rail,
It's somebody else's.
yes, ma'am, he becomes theirs. I've had him long enough. These scales that we have just purchased, and by the time we put down a little concrete pad for them and also build our crate, be in the range of about $2,000 for us to have a good weighing system here, and it'll be available that we can weigh cattle and be informative for us, and we'll just be able to do a better job. And these cattle are probably weighing around 1,100 pounds average here right now. Another 30 to 45 days, they'll put on another approximately 100 pounds. They're mixed. We have the South Devons and Angus cross. We have Hereford and Angus cross. We got Angus and Hereford cross, and we've got some Angus and maybe just a little touch of Brangus in us. Nobody ain't the same, and they're all good, and some are not. I mean, it's you've got one of those out in there that's going to ruin the
Steers or heifers or mixed?
They're mixed. Some people, you mean you're grass fattening heifers? Sure am. People like them because it makes good meat. You got steers? Yep, got those. Kindly have enjoyed this one today and had a chance to communicate with you, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. And I look forward to having the opportunity of doing this for several more years. And so if he's good to me, I will. He said, I cannot believe that. He said, you have shot my dissertation all to hell. Sorry, I didn't aim to do it. Nature did it. I was just cooperating with her.